Hi there. How are you? Things are good here in Finding Joy Live land. No, seriously, welcome to Finding Joy Live. It's great to be here today with you, and it is true that things are good. But there's something I'd like to talk to you guys about today that could really stand in your way and is something that often flies below the radar. So you don't really know it's a problem. You're not really aware that there's something going on there. Or maybe you do know in the very back of your mind. So let's unpack it. It's really about holding back. It's about how we hold back. And do we hold back? And why do we hold back? And knowing how things happen and why they serve you often can help us to make better choices about whether those same tools serve us now, right? So I want to tell you, holding back is something I felt like I knew nothing about when I was a teenager, right? I was always right out front and always a little loud with my mouth. That's true. And so this skill of learning to close my mouth was a really important skill, right? And I'm mentioning it now because sometimes something that we learn as children serves us as children, but it gets amplified to a level where it doesn't make sense in our lives, or in fact, it's keeping us from those things that we really want. In the case of holding back, a lot of times this skill of learning to be quiet, learning to get along with people, learning to kind of go along to get along and do what you're told and then try to weave your message in there, right? This skill doesn't serve us later in life because the people who are having immense success, which may be what you're reaching for, the people who are having immense success don't play by those rules. So that skill at that time in my life, it was great. It kept me employed, right? I was unemployable without it, right? I needed to learn how to get along with people and how to play with people in a nice way and how to listen better, right? And we confuse this holding back that we actually are doing with what we call listening. We say, oh no, I was just listening. I was holding space for someone. Well, there's a big difference between holding space and holding back. And often they really do get confused. So, does that skill serve us? Does it serve us? Yes, it absolutely serves us, right? It serves all the people around us and it opens doors. And that's an important thing to know, that you're able to open a door by listening carefully, by responding the way people kind of expect in a package that people expect, and by holding space for people, right? So that absolutely great skill to have. But over time, it can get distorted. It can get mixed up with guilt or self-doubt. Most of the time, self-doubt is the culprit here. And it gets mixed up with some self-doubt. And what we think is holding space turns into waiting. It turns into knowing that there's a response or a progress that you'd like in your life, and you're waiting. You might not be telling yourself you're waiting, right? So you really have to dig deep on these things and think of those moments as I'm talking to you. Think of those moments when you found yourself anticipating, even though you thought you were holding a space open. You thought you were listening. You thought you were just kind of waiting for the right opportunity, right? It turns into waiting. And waiting turns into missed opportunities and bad timing. And the reason it turns into missed opportunities and bad timing is because we're not practicing flow, right? In those moments, we're not practicing give and take. We're practicing hold back and wait for everybody else to get what they need. And then maybe there'll be a space for us to get what we need. But in fact, holding back can really be a secret and intangible way that we're sabotaging ourselves, right? We're stopping ourselves from reaching for that full potential in our lives. So today is going to be a short one. I'm going to get right to what you do about this, right? Because I love talking to you guys. I would love to hear from you. So if you are here currently, or if you pop on in a replay, put a comment on, hit the like button. Let me know you're here and playing along and getting something out of it, or having questions about this, okay? Because this is a intricate topic in reality. It sounds really simple. It sounds like, oh yeah, of course, I wouldn't hold back in that moment. But in fact, we do it all the time. We do it particularly in our intimate relationships, right? Because we have to learn how to sort of make space for somebody, right? But we also do it in business. And when we do it in business, it starts out as something really small, like, oh, I forgot to say when that sales rep was here, when that client was here. I forgot to say to them that I'd like to do this and that and the other thing with them. But you can call that person back. So you say, okay, no problem. So that's how it starts, okay? But if you allow it to amplify and amplify and amplify, it turns into missing your opportunity in front of the mayor when your business is about to get promoted, right? So it turns into these big opportunities being absolutely lost just because you haven't practiced good timing and how to open your mouth in a safe way, right? So let's talk about what the cure is for this. How do we do something about it? First thing you want to do, raise your awareness. It's really important. So as you go through your day, notice your body. Notice how you feel. Notice what you're saying. Notice how often you're speaking. Notice how long it takes you to switch from whatever movie was playing in your mind to whatever thing the person is talking to you about. And notice that you've missed things there, right? That's the beginning of heightening our awareness of conversation and exchange. And once we do that, then we can make those minute adjustments in those spaces that change the outcome. So now here you are, you're very aware. You know how you feel. You know who you're talking to. You know how you're talking to them. And you know what you're thinking about the people you might need to reach out to, right? Because that's also a space where there can be a holding back, where there's 50 people I have to reach out to today, and I don't want to, right? I have no energy for it. So notice, become aware, notice your energy, and then start to work with your energy. This is the healing piece of it. So sometimes there's a mental component of it. Sometimes there's a past trauma component of it. Sometimes there's simply an energetic blockage kind of component of this issue. But do the small healings throughout your day. Do the healing in a larger way if you need help with it. Absolutely reach out to me, to other practitioners, and say, hey, this is going on in my life. I want it to be different, and I don't know how to sweep away what I've been taught, what my belief system is, why I keep sabotaging myself even though I don't want to, all of those things, right? So do the healing element of it. And then set your intention. This is a really important piece that most people skip over. They skip over, what do I really intend, right? They go straight to, no, yeah, I'm going to talk when I want to talk and not talk when I don't want to talk. I'm not going to miss any opportunities. I'm going to jump right in there. But that's not really the intention, is it? Because your intentions are complicated. So often, particularly people who are used to talking to people all the time, we have intentions about connecting and about understanding and about learning about each other and about finding points of overlap and about feeling certain ways while we're talking to people. We have all of these intentions that are below the surface. So raise your awareness and really set a clear intention about making sure that your voice is heard, right? About making sure that you're checking in about, am I holding back or am I just holding space? Am I listening, fully listening, showing up present in this moment? Or am I actually holding back because I'm afraid X, Y, and Z, right? I'm afraid that I'll offend the person. I'm afraid it will end my relationship with that person. I'm afraid that I don't know. This is unknown territory. I've never said this to this person or maybe anybody else before, right? So really check in with that intention and be intentional about setting it, okay? And then finally, practice, right? We have to practice not holding back in those moments and practicing in the small moments, right? Practicing when you think to yourself, I'd like to get a glass of water and you don't do it. That's a moment. You can say, hey, I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to meet the needs of my body. I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to go outside for some fresh air when I need it. All of those small things that we can do with ourselves internally have a massive impact when we start relating to other people. So practice, okay? Don't miss out on these opportunities that are coming your way. When you see the chance to speak up and you know that it feels exactly right, that's when to do it. Now, I'm going to go back to that last little piece of that sentence. I said, and you know that it feels exactly right. But the truth is, when we're making change, it doesn't feel exactly right, does it? Right? Because we're always waiting for that. Like, I know what this feels like. I've been this, but I don't know what that feels like yet. I have an imagination about what I will feel like when, but I don't actually know. So it's really hard to sort of reach for the brass ring at the exact moment because you can't even see the brass ring at that moment, right? So there is a space of discomfort. There is a space of uncomfortability that feels like the unknown. And that's really a space that you have to learn to get to know if changing is a value of yours. If finding more joy, more freedom, more playfulness, more money, of course, more success in your life, if those things are of value to you, then learning this process of growth, learning how to safely and easily grow is really important. And that's what that process I just described really is. It's a process that you can use in any type of growth, right? To become aware, to do some healing, to make your intentions clear and exact, and then to practice. You never know what could happen, but this one thing is certain. You won't miss out an opportunity if you learn to change your life. I have a program coming up I'd like you guys to take a look at. In fact, I'm going to give you this beautiful link. There we go. I'm going to give you this link and I'll tell you what, check it out. Joyful Freedom Accelerator. This is where we're doing this work. This is where we're co-creating the natural joy, the freedom, the impact that you want, right? Every area of your life, the person that you want to become can be supported there, can be the nuances can be worked out. You know, the other day I was doing something and I thought about what it is that keeps us from doing those things that we know we need to do, particularly in business, right? So you're setting up a new CRM or you're doing something very rote, right? Something that's not your expertise, but you know you need to do it. And those things that hold us back in those moments really are about not being able to get through some very small, very simple moment. Very simple. So be in a community of people who know the nuances. That's really what we're doing here. So If you'd like to check that out, you've got the link there. It's joyfulfreedomaccelerator.com/JFA2, which I did not know that you needed the slash, but you really do. So apparently you do. And you can always, of course, find me at donnalynn.blog as well. It's been really nice talking to you today. And I really hope that you check it out and that you find within yourself this space of openness, of moving forward, of loving the world enough to never hold back. You have a great day.